All right, hello, welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging. We are back to playing Werewolf tonight. Took a few days off for Christmas and such. Hopefully everybody had a great holiday. But we actually haven't really taken a break because we played last Thursday. This is crazy. So this is great. Everyone, we should have it fresh in our memories. Haven't really missed any sessions. It's sort of a weird inverse of what normally happens around like the holidays where we kind of go on this weird break and everything. But we're back. When is the Marvel Werewolf crossover? Did I see that question? That could be interesting.
Oh my god!
Really interesting.
Werewolves and Mojoverse.
I mean, we could say werewolf, like that kind of lycanthropy is mutant like. I feel like that's right there.
Do well
we could see
in the gladiator arena.
If we went broader into Marvel, they do have Werewolf by Night and J. Jonah Jameson's son. I mean, they're all werewolves. A bunch of werewolves.
Spoilers for those who haven't seen the most recent Marvel episode, but we're in Mojo World now. So maybe some of the other combatants are just happens to be a pack of werewolves from the Southwest United States in one of the various Marvel universes. So I mean,
here's a little hint.
I'm afraid our werewolves would get utterly slaughtered.
Yeah, I think they would.
Stephen also, by the way, made me promise not to bring everyone to Mojo World before episode 1.
Yeah,
you broke a promise.
He sent me messages. He's like, you don't really like Kipser too much, right? It's okay if I kick her out of the group. So no, it's gonna be fun. And the break happened at a perfect time because it gives him 2 weeks to basically come up with something, which is, I think, it's just exactly not that he's doing any of that. He'll prep about 3 hours before our session starts. All right. So last time around, we had an interesting twist. A lot of people were expecting it to be more violent, and it turned out not to be so violent. But maybe the violence will ensue soon enough. But before we do that, why don't we go ahead and introduce the werewolves that we have? So, Jeremy, tell us a little about Scout Leader Eustace.
Oh yeah, I'm just Eustace Hart, Philodox, Hart Warden. I like to live a nice, balanced life. I'll throw down when I need to, but when you don't need to, especially when you're somebody's home, you just try and be polite, and that'll take you places sometimes. Please,
indeed,
is an option.
Indeed, it was. I was honestly a touch surprised that there wasn't a little bit more fighting. I thought you guys would fight the golems at least. I figured once you guys sorted out who Princess was or might have been, there probably wouldn't have been any sort of shenanigans at that point. But I thought you guys would at least fight the golems, so I was kind of surprised that you covered for parlay, but that's fine. Next up, Melissa, tell us about Selena Benz and specifically what her tribe and auspice is.
So Selena Bendis is a Children of Gaia Theurge, because I now write it on my Zoom so that I can't mess it up when it's my turn. So I just read the words in front of my face and I'm good now. So sorry to take the fun out of what Melissa say this week when she's introducing Selena. So yeah, she's happy to be back to where she can get some more green and maybe find out how badly Lou is mad at her for saying that they should deal with whatever situation her kid's in a little bit later.
We'll probably be okay. Because at a funeral, everybody forgives everybody.
You know how werewolves are.
Yeah, they don't hold grudges at all.
Yeah. Brew up some forgetful juice.
Yeah. Forgetful juice. Okay. Yeah,
it's just grain alcohol.
Is that okay? Fair enough.
That works.
Kool-Aid mix.
Man, I'm in college again. That's jeez. Okay. Yeah. God, I can tell. Did I ever tell you about the time I almost blew up a moonshine still? Have I told you this?
Oh. Why did you do such a thing?
So when I was in college, my freshman year, I lived in the dorms, and the guy on my dorms and on the same floor as me, he was basically like Dixie Mafia. His family was that kind of they were deep in the middle of nowhere, and they did things like gator wrestling and moonshine making, and pretty sure they ran a lot of drugs and stuff in the southeast section of the United States. And so he invited a group of us home for a weekend, so that we can kind of see, because we didn't really believe him when he was telling us about all the gator wrestling and stuff. His little they have this little amusement park, and so a bunch of us went. So there's about 5 or 6 of us, and we like participated in some alligator wrestling, and then we got to see the moonshine still. And so like they were showing us around and we were kind of poking stuff here and there. And I accidentally bumped into something I shouldn't. And all of a sudden steam just started bursting up through some sort of vent at one point, and people got really, really panicked and they ushered us out of the room. Nothing exploded, but apparently something almost did. And so that was because I apparently hit something I shouldn't. So, but anyway, that's the story. Yeah. Jeremy's giving me a slow clap. Kipser's giving me like a golf clap, so I don't know if that's as good. Anyhow, all right. Well, that was my dumb story. I guess it wasn't as interesting as I thought it was. Let's go to the bottom row.
See, question in chat: did you enjoy your moonshine samples?
Yes, I think I have very little memory of it because that's how good it was. Like, yeah, it was really good. I'd never drank moonshine before, and so when we drank, I was. I think I was 18 at the time. I don't think I was 19 yet. I think it was before I hit 19. But yeah, we drank some, and it was that was an experience. It hurt really, really, really bad. But I don't know. You're 18 in college, and you're in the middle of nowhere. Whatever. Let's go do it. I mean, moonshine plus like alligator wrestling. I don't know how that. Like it's Pinnacle, Florida. It's Pinnacle, Florida, like Florida. Deep south, like it's Panhandle, Florida. It was great. Anyhow, let's go to the bottom row. Evan, tell us about Duke Dustfang.
Oh, let me see if I can follow up that story. Duke is a Silver Fang Galliard. He is becoming slowly the new king of Arizona. He's recruited half of Josiah's pack, and he's just going to slowly
recruited
like a magnet to start getting all the werewolves so we can defend our lands from... I don't know, zombies. What are they?
Yeah, zombies will work. I mean, there's a lot of things you can defend it from, but zombies is a good place to start. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you guys got 5 young, totally not mimicked after each of you, Geru. To each one of them was like, this is. I draw little lines between like the list of young Geru and a list of you guys.
Was I supposed to take Titan?
Titan was not yours. No, Titan wasn't yours, which was funny. Yeah. So definitely not yours. Titan was actually going to be Duke's, because Titan's kind of the leader of their little group. But that's fine. The leader. It works out. It worked out. It was fun. All right. So then tell us about Lou then, Kipser, and how she's feeling right now.
Lou is, she is not doing very well. She is feeling a higher and higher spikes of anxiety because she has left her child, and she realizes for a long period of time this was not supposed to happen. He wanted her to come, and she was convinced not to, and also has not had a cigarette in a very long time, which is also problematic for my stats.
By the time you get back to Phoenix, it's going to be a couple days, like 3 or 4 days, I think, since you would have last seen.
She does
Depending on which way you take. I'm going to give you a couple options, and you guys can tell me which route you get. But it's going to be 3 or 4 days, basically, since you last would have seen him. So 3 or 4 days in which all of this was transpiring in the little trip and all that kind of stuff. And then finally, tell us about Jacques, Aaron.
Jacques Whiteclaw was born a small black-furred pup under the Ahroun or full moon, raised as a red Talon to battle against the worm, and particularly the weaver and weaver lovers.
Not that.
So glasswalkers are not the weaver.
Well, I mean, you do have a lot of friends that are like weaver spirits. It's fine for now. Okay. I just forgot something and I wrote a note. All right, so let's dive in. So last time around, we've been working on this little quest with Josiah Dawnclaw. You were traveling through the Umbra. You found this mage's sanctum. You're supposed to get in there and get this silver crown, right? That was sort of the agreement. You passed through the gauntlet. You came back into the physical world on the slopes of the Howling Mountain. Spirits were prowling. There were all sorts of spirits. And they usually were in pairs. A lot of them were cats. You eventually got trapped within a greenhouse that was sort of served as some kind of holding cell. And it was, in fact, powered by one of the Weaver's spirits, an orb spider. The entire area was also kind of like temporally unshackled. So like you were seeing like different versions of yourselves, whether it's time or decision making, you're not really sure, here or there as you kind of peered around. There are all sorts of these defenses, and you didn't even stumble across all of them. You stumbled across a handful. Eventually, you managed to hack this strange computer inside the greenhouse. You found this physical key that got you out of that greenhouse and into the sanctum's interior, where we can see hallways that were moving. We can see golems that were animated from various kitchen supplies and pots and pans and other metals, things like that. Eustace, you managed to actually call for parley, and they granted it. And they picked the floor up, and they revealed a staircase. You all started trudging down that staircase, and that's when you met Bill DeBalvis, the adopted father / mentor of Dakota. He also had a friend on a sectional couch with him named Princess, and the two of them were watching The Wizard of Oz for like the 70-something time. And Lou, you were able to determine that it was a very, very powerful spirit with such size and such luminance that like you were almost blinded, or at least temporarily blinded, in fact. There are 1,000 different crowns that were lining the walls, but Bill tried to, and very easily apparently, convince you guys that the silver crown was basically an artifact for villainy because of the mind control nature of it. And he suggested that Princess might not even let you leave with it after how difficult it was for her to clean up the mess that it caused the last time a werewolf had it. After some basic negotiation, Bill agreed to perform that cleansing ritual that you were doing all of this for in exchange for Dawnclaw doing it for you. And you all agreed to leave the sanctum, keeping its location safe, all that kind of stuff. And then you also managed to talk the young Garrow into coming with you as well, to leaving Dawnclaw's sept and joining your own. And there were like these little hints here and there of like possible other tragedies that might have happened in the past that kind of started coming to the surface, but eventually they all agreed. And so Bill and Princess and whatever, they helped you get through the gauntlet, pushed you back into the Umbra to continue your travel away once more. So basic question, we don't have to necessarily play the entire route out through the Umbra, that's not necessary, but basically 3 options. Do you guys travel the entire way back to your Phoenix Skies Grove through the Umbra? Do you travel enough to get to a population center and then like rent a car or drive back? Or do you try to travel until you get a kind of away from the Howling Mountain and then exit and then turn the Lupus and try to run as a pack? Like, what's your basic route back? Because depending on which you choose, time and willpower and stuff like that.
Would Lou know which way is the fastest option? Is it a car the fastest?
Go ahead, Lou. You're smart. Roll like an intelligence test. And you can add in like a science or something like that. Or
sure.
Yeah.
I got
Selena
science.
would think that running, like pack running, might be the faster way to go because you could do a little more like.
We
as
also
the
have
crow
to
flies.
keep in mind that we're potentially wanted for murder. So
-2.
we can't do the second one. We have to do 1 or 3.
Okay. 2 successes. So Lou, travel through the Umbra is completely unstable. You could get there faster, but you also could get there in
Sorry,
2
I forgot
weeks.
the -2, but that's okay.
That's okay. So while that has the potential to be the fastest, at the same time, it also has the potential to be the slowest. So it's super risky. Probably the fastest route is driving. You guys determined from some basic study that you think you're near Taos, New Mexico. So you could potentially like head down into like the city population center and maybe rent a car. That would probably be the fastest, but it does, like Duke was saying, it does kind of put you guys back on the radar in some ways. If you just turn into your Lupus form, that would probably be slower than just driving back. But it might also be safer because you can stick to the wilds and that kind of thing.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I think I'm going to go steal either a very fast motorbike or something and maybe dye my hair a different color.
Jacques just growls, basically saying he'll be shifting into a Lupus form and running back because that's the way we're supposed to travel.
I feel like that's a good compromise because putting ourselves out there to get a rental in a location close to all that mess that happened, it might be best for us. It's a longer hike, but it's more stable than trying to do the Umbra, and we're not putting our faces out there. I think if we can get home and lay low for a little bit, I'll be a little less worried about what went down there. But
is very nice and all, and I would normally agree that the safest route would be the wolf form. But you see, I've got the kids that we left with a
Okay.
bunch of undead zombies, and I really do need to get home.
You left with the undead
You
zombies.
can, yeah, no one's saying you can't
And
go.
Selena-
You did it.
Okay.
It's okay.
Okay.
We were better off having her around. So this was better
okay.
that we go as the pack.
I propose compromise atop the compromise. I still think overall for the pack, running is good, but you should get there as quickly as possible. Not alone. I'll ride shotgun with you.
That would be appreciated. Yes, I am, regardless of your choices, and I understand Jacques would like to run with his legs, but
Jacques is fairly safe because he's always been a wolf. Nobody's ever seen his human form in all of this. All he'd be able to say is that
the manager at Burger King would disagree with you.
Well, I mean, the people who are trying to hunt us have only ever seen him as a wolf.
Yes. But I'm going to see if I can grab probably a motorbike would be the fastest. Maybe a dirt bike would give me some off-roading.
Okay. All right. Let's just do it this way then. Anybody who is going back in lupus form, just give me a survival stamina. And anybody who is driving back, I would say anything like probably... you could probably just do something like composure, especially since you're just trying to keep yourself calm, and awareness, probably, just to see if you're like being followed and that kind of stuff.
Has our rage dropped off any?
I would say no, not just yet.
Okay.
I think you're okay still.
And composure.
I got a ton of rage. I'm very rageful.
All right.
A lot of dice for one success.
Okay.
Classic.
So
2 successes.
Okay.
2 for me too.
All right. Basic difficulty was 3. If anybody got less, so just take as willpower, superficial willpower, just from like tiredness or exhaustion or frustration, whatever it might be, is what's kind of coming up. So difficulty's 3. Take the difference between how many successes you had in 3. Take that as superficial willpower, as you guys are kind of pushing through, either running or driving late at night, or driving faster than you should be, or whatever it might be, is sort of accruing. And that will say is the sort of the time back. Again, we don't have to play it all out, but we'll just say that that's sort of the wear and tear of you all pushing your way back into the Phoenix area. It's probably another day then of travel. You probably are going to come in 2 different groups. Some of you are going to be coming in a little bit first. Those of you who are driving, you're going to get there a little faster. Those of you who are running, you're going to get there probably later in the day. So we'll say midday folks get there who drove, and later in the night people who ran. Now, I'll say this though, Lou, you still have your phone on you, right?
Yes.
Okay, so sometime after you get into Taos with Eustace, and maybe 1 or 2 of the young pups are with you, Titan or somebody, you start getting updates on your phone, and you start seeing that you're getting messages one after the other. After their text messages, you just see teapot, teapot, teapot. Like you see it over and over and over again, all caps. You see emojis of teapot, teapot, teapot. There's like dozens and dozens of them. And you get some variation from both Riley and from Lucas, this kind of message, and just like, where the fuck are you? That type of thing.
Then Eustace and the young pups probably see Lou like starting to look through her phone, and then just like the phone crunches in her hands as some of the werewolf strength comes out, and she's like, we need to get a vehicle now. Anything that is fast. I don't care if it's a police cruiser or what. We are in trouble.
All right. So
Eustace
you are
is
muted.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Just speechless by the horror of the situation.
Yeah.
So you guys push through. We'll say Eustace and Lou, you get there first because you guys were driving. Everybody else was running. Did I get that right? Okay. Eustace, Lou, you guys get there. You push through the night. You get there in the morning, AM, sun's out, and you kind of pull in. Where is the first place you would go, Lou?
Straight to the Duke's hideaway house.
Okay.
Secret base. Not
If that's the
secret
case, you head over to Duke's impenetrable secret base.
Yep.
And
Very secret base.
You notice that it is, first of all, just arriving, just looking from a distance. We'll say the two of you and your two Garu friends, young Garu. You notice that it's eerily quiet. You don't see any signs of Riley's vehicle. You don't see any signs of lights on in like the building. It's all very, very, very quiet. It's still standing. It's not like burnt down or destroyed or blown up or anything like that. But it definitely from the outside, from the curb, from 50 yards away, whatever it might be, it looks very quiet.
Eustace will give like a half puzzled look on his face as he just hands you his cell phone. Yeah, I don't know if you can do it from this.
Oh.
Can you do the thing where you ping your kid or something like that?
I didn't put the monitor kid app on my phone or on his.
Really?
No, he knows what he's doing normally.
Okay, I know. Fair enough. I made an assumption. We know how that goes.
No,
Sorry.
it's okay. Let me see. Okay. I am going to do a quick call and see if he can. I know his phone number, so I'll do a call and see if he'll answer, if we can hear it in the building.
I'll say two things. Do you get close enough that you're actually going to be able to hear it first before I...
Yeah, well, okay, look, Eustace, I'm going to go up. Maybe you and the others stay back. I think it's probably not safe, but I have to go.
All right. Lou, give me an awareness test. Eustace, you can also give me one too if you're hanging back.
Okay, I'll hang back.
And yeah, give me a awareness, and again, 2 minimum, but the more successes, the better.
Awareness. This is probably more awareness wits, or
yeah, awareness
that'll
and
do.
what?
Awareness wits makes sense.
okay.
And she'll have grabbed a cigarette at a gas station while they were driving at some point. So
That's fair.
I'm
Yeah,
a little
that's
smoke
definitely
right now. Awareness and wits.
Okay. All right, 3 successes for both of you. Okay, so first of all, you call, phone rings, doesn't answer, eventually hits his voicemail. You don't hear it ringing from inside the house either. You notice, I'll say, Lou, when you get up close to the front of this building, maybe the blinds are peeled back ever so slightly, and you look inside, and if you guys remember, you laid them down on a living room. They were just laying down on a living room floor. You don't notice them anymore. They're not there on the ground. You do see signs, Lou, of some disturbance, like a broken table, knocked over lamp, that sort of thing. So that's what you get with 3. Eustace, one thing you notice is that this area, I'm going to say it's it's kind of dirt roady, dirt paths. It's not necessarily it's probably out of the way. So it's kind of not the most accessible place. And you definitely notice that there's a disturbing amount of traffic for an out of the way, for kind of an out of the way safe house. You can see all sorts of different tracks and stuff in the dirt. And you also notice with 3 successes that there is what looks like a kind of collection of debris, like broken glass and maybe like a part of a fender or like a headlight or something on the ground up next to what appears to be kind of a big old boulder on the side of this intersection, this little dirt road intersection where people peel off down these roads. Signs of like a car accident, basically. Cleaned up, but still there.
Oh man, I'm curious. Given on account we'd seen them private military looking types, and sometimes their vehicles are going to have them big, wide, heavy duty tires versus sort of thing you'll see on a normal civilian car. I'm hardly a car buff, but I'm decent at survival. I might try and see if I get the notion that maybe the other ones that came out, seen as they were related to them.
Yeah. I would say no roll necessary. You did see that big kind of SUV vehicle bear down on you guys, and not unlike it. You definitely these are not just your average everyday tires. These are a little heavier duty, a little bigger.
Okay.
Definitely Definitely would give you those vibes.
Okay.
Can I activate the Batman vision and recreate the scene with investigation?
I don't think
Please
that's
and
how
thank
it
you.
works.
Yes. I just double tap my glasses and then I get the grid with like see-through images and it tells me what happened where.
You can absolutely kick on penumbra sense, but that is not exactly.
Oh no,
what the
not the
effect's going to
penumbra
be.
sense, just the Batman vision. I'm just an investigation check. I don't think
Yes.
there's spirits here.
All right. Yeah, go ahead and roll investigation. Investigation, probably wits again. Are you going to go inside? Or are you going to limit your search to
Yes,
just outside? Okay.
I'm going to enter the building and I'm going to
Okay.
start to look around to see if I'm not seeing like the bodies there, but there's sort of elements that look like a fight occurred. I'm going to try to figure out like, did somebody break in the door and there was a fight, or did it come from inside out?
So 4 successes on your roll here. Very good. You notice that there's definitely signs of a fight struggle on the inside between multiple, like several people. You do see scrapes on the floor near where the bodies have been laid. You do see little bits of blood stains here and there, dried. So it's certainly not recent. Might have happened a day, or like if you look at the dates, it might have been early yesterday morning or maybe the night before, something like that. So that for sure. You notice that the front door was breached for sure. You can see that the sort of the back door, we'll say it's some kind of like maybe a sliding door or whatever, and it's kind of shattered in a bit, as if like it looks as though someone like ran into it or tried to. It's sort of slightly out of its track and it's shattered as well. And I'll say you notice that there is sort of a section on the side of the house outside where it looks very clear like someone peeled out with a vehicle, like they were like trying to leave quickly, and kind of peels out on the road.
Okay. I'm about to do something kind of gross, and I'm sorry, but I would probably know the smell of my kid's blood. So can I turn into a lupin and try to lick the blood?
Sure. Absolutely, you can do that. I would
and
say
then maybe takes the smell.
Okay, I'll say if you shift, you will definitely notice the smell of Lucas's blood, Riley's blood. He's your partner. You might have had his might be somewhat familiar as well. Both of them
probably
seem to. Now, it doesn't look like there's like
both of them.
There's not like blood everywhere. There's not like blood splatter. There's not like giant, big, dark pools. It's more just like little droplets and splashes here and there. You don't get the sense that like a body was laying here and pooling for days or whatever it might be. And you don't get the sense that maybe your kid dropped down on the middle of like a living room rug and like 7 or 8 zombies just started feasting on his stomach. Like that definitely didn't happen here.
Okay, don't need the qualifier. I don't need the qualifier at the end. Okay, then I will open the door and wave at Eustace. Doesn't seem like there's anybody. Well, I guess I'm the wolf now. I will wag my tail at Eustace, and then kind of go to the back where a car looked like it peeled and see if I can get a scent off of that area. But otherwise, I'll let Eustace do the thing.
Okay, Eustace. Anything else you wanted to do?
No, I'm glad to follow. She seems to be laser focused.
All right, let's cut over then while you two are kind of still doing whatever you want. Let's cut over to the rest of the group who will say you arrive later in the day, somewhere mid-afternoon. Is it fair to say you guys would go back to Gaia's Grove, or would you go somewhere else?
Yeah, Jacques would go to Gaia's Grove and take whatever youngsters were following him so he could introduce them to the other seps.
We'll say that Titan and Lyric followed Lou and Eustace, and you guys have the rest. Okay. So if that's the case, if that's fair with everybody, eventually you'll arrive sometime in the afternoon. Overcast day, but no rain because it's Arizona. You definitely can see that even in the few days you've been gone, your grows have begun to regrow almost back. There's like almost no evidence left of like sort of like the ruined, decaying trees from the night of the Black Spiral Dancer attack. There's still some like building construction going on, but definitely the groves look to be in so much better shape just in a handful of days of your Karen spirit kind of kicking in. One thing you'll notice when you come in is that there are fewer people here than you probably anticipate. It's 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Should be plenty of people working, whether it's working on the like rebuilding some of the buildings that suffered in the dust storm, or whether it's just kind of tending to the groves themselves. There should be more people here. Likely you guys have a handful of vehicles at your disposal, one of which is the El Camino that is now RIP. But there are others maybe that you might be familiar with some of the other packs. You can see that whatever kind of modest garage of vehicles that you have is empty, with the exception of like one very simple vehicle that maybe only Adora drives, like something really kind of generic, like a late 90s Honda Civic or something like that. Other than that, like it looks very, very like there's a dearth of people here. And you see a lot of like the human folk that are like your various workers that come in and tend the groves. But it's kind of odd to the point where like the various people with you are like Orion and whatnot are like, this is nice. You can tell he's being charitable as you guys lead him inside.
I don't understand. There should be more people here.
Jacques would ask one of the human workers, is Adora on site? We'd like to speak with her.
They kind of look at you. Probably again, one person, like there's degrees of people who are in the know. So like, but he'll probably recognize your faces and such, and he'll point to one of the buildings, the partially rebuilt, a kind of church. He'll kind of point over in that direction, and he'll say, "She was tending to the young boy." Kind of points over in that direction.
That doesn't sound good. Let's
Jacques.
provide her with an update and find out what has occurred in our absence.
Okay. So if you go inside, you'll notice that there's been some like rearrangement of some of the makeshift furniture in here, and you'll find Adora in a kind of back room that likely was like her office, so to speak. And you'll see there's two mattresses have been dragged in here, and you can see there's 2 bodies laying in them. I think some of you probably would have met Lucas at some point, I would imagine. Maybe not Riley, but definitely Lucas. I think that's fair, right? Right, Lou?
Yeah.
Okay.
Riley and Lucas were both in the Heart and Soul at Eustace's for the storm.
He's making chicken wings.
So they're probably familiar at some point. You see that Lucas is in one of those beds, covered in scrapes and bruises and bite marks, and he's got like some basic what's it called, IV kind of being put into him. And then you can see another man, older than, not a boy, who seems to have the worst of it. His face just seems to be almost mangled and busted, and he's in the other one. And like Adora is kind of checking on both of them, just kind of maybe dozing in between them, has maybe like a book out or some such, and it's just periodically like checking vitals here and there when you guys wander in. And she kind of looks up. "You've returned. Good. We are in need of more hands." She kind of looks at you.
How did these 2 come to be here?
They called looking for this one's mother, Lou, and they were in a state. And we tended to them. When we found them, they were, the boy, she points at Lucas, was dragging the man through the middle of the desert. I I don't know where he got the strength. The man is in terrible condition. The boy told us a few things before he eventually collapsed. Exhaustion. I think he'll be fine, though. I've been trying to reach Lou, but she's not answering her phone. But they were attacked, apparently. There were the bodies from the other incident. Animated.
Yes.
And attacked in the night.
This is why I said we should have simply killed them. It's time for everybody to recognize that we're fighting a war here, and we need to start fighting it to win it.
You can see she, like, Adora's nodding. She's nodding along with it, but you can tell she's pretty exhausted. Like, you can tell she's probably been up fairly late with him. They mentioned something about a signal emitting, driving around. The boy kept saying, ice cream truck. You'll have to ask him more, but they were attacked. We have them here. They're going to be fine. The boy is going to be fine. The man, we think one of their vehicles is his face. We think they were in some sort of accident. Kind of
Jacques, Duke, keep talking with Adora. I need to step away. And so Selena's going to step out and try to get Lou or Eustace.
Well, I think Lou destroyed her phone. So Lou's phone does not answer. Eustace, do you have your phone on you, old man?
I have.
Lou has my phone now.
Okay. Eventually, you will get Eustace on the phone. Maybe rings.
Hello?
Too many times.
You call me and you get Lou. Eventually.
Lou.
Yes. Hello.
Oh, good. Yes.
I'm just running.
Come to the grove now. Come to the grove now.
Okay, but the house is a wreck, and I need to follow the
Lucas
trail
is
of
here.
blood.
Come to the grove.
Oh shit. Okay. Let me. Eustace is there as a grove. We need to go now. And you'll hear a dial tone as she hangs up.
And then sort of the but okay.
And likely we saw Eustace and Lou literally tracking the scent of Lucas and Riley, like, out into the desert, drag marks such and such out into the desert here and there, and that's when the phone probably kicked in at this point. So we'll say time will pass, an hour, whatever. Everyone gets back. So we'll say everyone at this point is back at the Grove. Do whatever you like. Adora is tired but willing to talk. Lou, I'll say that it does look like he's going to be okay, but they keep saying he was exhausted, he was tired, etc. But everyone does look like your son's going to be okay. Riley, they're a little bit more nervous about, but otherwise the time is yours. What would you guys be doing, asking about, talking to? What's up?
Lou would shut down, just kind of sit vigil at the bedside of both Riley and Lucas.
All right. What about the rest of you?
It's probably important to give Lou some space, and also maybe, let the new pups see some of the other things around here.
Jacques would disappear and head into the city and try to find Isabel, see if she's heard anything about the dead rising or if the vampires are dealing with this issue as well.
Okay. What about Duke or Selena?
I think Duke, before kind of explaining the situation to the young ones, he does want to look at Lucas to double check that he's not, like, infected or something happened. Like, so I don't know if that's a cult or what. He just wants to, like, since we've kind of seen them before.
Lou would not let you touch him at this
He's
point.
not going to touch him. He's just look at him.
Growls
He
at
wants
you.
to eat him.
Look, we're in a war and we need to fight to win. That's what I heard.
Occult, like if you, I mean, honestly, Duke, you got there. You were one of the first ones there, so you
Yeah,
even
so I
could
could have done it before she
assess
showed
then.
up. Yeah.
Occult intelligence, probably you could do.
Sure.
Oh God. Would you like to
Placement.
willpower?
I will re-roll some dice.
That was only one success. Oh, it's six. Six. All right, two successes.
Massive successes.
Okay. You notice that there are bites, scrapes, and just other kind of abrasions. So it definitely looks like there are some scrapes, definitely like claw marks or rip marks, but you also notice some bite marks. At the same time, there was nothing in the way that the creatures attacked, like these infected people. When you were first, like in the first sort of arc, when you're going out towards the Echo Lab site, there's nothing to suggest that their bite, like the movies, conveyed like some sort of infection. Like their infection seemed to come with sort of a signal that they would sort of emit and try to like instead sort of mess with brain waves or something. So there's nothing there that suggests immediately. If you like kind of look at the eyes and things like lift the eyes up, you don't notice anything to suggest like he's lost. Like when you looked at some of those infected people, they had like their eyes themselves almost seemed to almost illuminated. They would kind of give off some strange glow. You're not getting anything like that. So more than likely not. All right.
Lena will be kind of having a conversation with Adora.
Okay.
And with Jacques as well. Just
Jacques left.
just kind of
Jacques went in the city.
just
hang out with his
Adora.
vamp friend.
That's right. She Selena's like
Eustace
talking
is
to Adora, turns around to like bring Jacques into the conversation. He always just runs off.
You're talking to like an actual dog. Like you guys probably have like an actual, you just got it confused.
And she'll just kind of have kind of a deep sigh that we knew that there was another site, another Echo Lab, another location, but we just needed to try to take care of this infection or whatever that all of the rest of us had gotten, and Duke had a lead on how to get that done. We thought we would be better, as Jacques would say.
Dora's just kind of
soldiers
waving
for the
you
war.
off. She's just sort of waving you off. Like, you don't need to explain or apologize. That is not how this works. There's something you think you needed to do and you did it. You try to aid the Sept in your community how you thought it was best to do so. I will say, we sent Darkpaw and his pack to this other site, and she gets a very grim look on her face. And they haven't returned. They've been gone for almost 4 days since you all left. We sent Warchild and Alvarez and their people, their wolves, out west. They've had a better time of it. We've heard from them. 2 of them were arrested. They're working through it now. But I would be lying if I said I was not concerned.
This was what I feared when we arrived, and we were so thinly populated now. We did bring some younger ones with us. Very long story, not for now, but we did bring a few
All are
to
welcome.
add to our number.
We will welcome them as we have welcomed you and so many others. But I worry not for the new ones. I worry for those who we have lived with and shared duty with all this time. I
Yes.
sent young Hector, Sunrunner, to see if he could find them. We spoke with Bodhi briefly and Bunker on their phones, but the connection was very bad. We have not heard from Hector either. He's been gone for 2 days. This other site is taking our wolves.
This might be false hope, but some of the technology does not work as well in close proximity. So some of the delay might not necessarily be cause for alarm, but you are right.
4 days, Selena,
yes,
is cause for alarm. They are not
Understood.
young pups. I've known Darkpaw longer than I've known any of you. More capable than even I at leading a task so simple as reconnaissance. You would not disappear in such a haphazard manner.
we will
Yeah.
rest
We are-
briefly and do what we can.
Yes. Rest, fine. But we are thin. Reinforcements are few. You could see she's very exhausted. A little snippier than maybe you remember her to be. She's usually so very patient, very almost Eustace-like, and like that kind of patience of just, even in the face of like really strange and really kind of terrible, she usually finds a way to find balance. But like you can tell, like she's kind of giving over to this sort of anger that pops out. This cut into downtown Phoenix. We'll say at some point, Jacques, throughout the night, you guys arrived in like afternoon. You head out into Phoenix nighttime. You find Isabel, whatever your usual hunting grounds might be. Probably south of the 60 or so, something like that. Downtown, industrial area, some of the grimier parts of the city. But we'll say you probably track her down. Some sort of drug dealer or criminal or something that she's found feasting as she might. Maybe you track by the smell of blood, and that's how we even find her. But yeah, you find her, and she looks up at you. And is it common for you guys to be like out of contact for several days on end?
It's not uncommon because she'll have business
Sure.
with, I guess Gangrel now. She'd be part of the Sabbat, but she
Sure.
has her own business. So it's not uncommon for us to be out of contact for 3 or 4 days at a time.
Okay. So we'll say when she greets you, it's with no sort of concern, nothing like that. It's just normal business. She'll be like, I thought I smelled dog. And she turns back and she'll see Jacques. Are you in like lupus form, or do you stay in lupus form, like trekking through the streets?
Yeah. He'd stay in lupus form, but he'll shift into Hamid form to communicate a little easier. Yeah, I've been gone, running the spirit highways for the last few days, dealing with some business, but that problem we talked about a week or so ago, the Weaver and the Worm spirit, the thing that combined and was broadcasting and corrupting the cancer that's humanity. We weren't able to put it down completely. Have you heard or seen anything in the last couple of days?
She'll grin a little bit. She'll say, don't smell as foul as you have been recently.
We were cleansed. A mage of all things.
Her eyes kind of like almost roll at that point. Like, you really are picking the bottom of the barrel.
It's
and then
a
she'll
war.
like,
We'll take what allies we can find.
I suppose you and your wars. She'll like to your question. We've had news. We don't deal with it the way you do. We live how we live. You rage against it. But there are players, financial. There's pressure being put. Various civic drives. Territory being given over, sold. All roads lead back, it seems, to a very large company. We haven't quite cracked the financials. ttrpg.
What does that stand for?
I do not know. This is not one for the financial forensics or counting or whatever, but others.
Are
have
they
mentioned.
associated with that Lockram Securities that you said was owned by one of your kind?
They
Or at least associated with?
hold the leash, apparently. They hold the leash of that small private army. They hold the leash of your strange little scientists with their tinfoil hats and other things apparently as well.
Are any of your kind still working with them?
No. Not that I would know. They are too, well, how do I put this? They don't know how to share. They come into a territory that's already been marked, to use your parlance, and think that they can just take it over, throw this money here, that account there, and everything's fine. Not everything can be bought, but they think so. At least that's what it appears to be.
Do you know, or have you heard where they're running their research out of, tied back to this spiritual infestation?
Well, downtown, not here. The good part. The cleaner part. Your scientists, they have a headquarters there. What's the phrase humans like to use? A think tank. They just conjure all sorts of interesting ideas. In truth, I think they're just trying to find those like you and I, and they're jealous of what we can do. And now they're finding ways to do it.
We were attacked on the road by a team, a highly trained, armed team, who were prepared to fight werewolves. They were human, but they were using silver rounds. They knew. They knew we were going to be there. Yes. If you're going to use that term. But if they're coming for us that hard and in the open like that, and we're able to completely cover it up, you should keep your wings tucked tight and be careful as well.
I've heard that they've been... Their experiments in the supernatural. I think they're being fed because they have been procuring items and people of supernatural origin. At least that's the theory. None of us are stupid enough to get caught, of course.
Do you know what kind of pipeline they're running to get these supernatural? I mean, are they pulling them from the dregs? Are they...
That I do not know. But if I hear more, I will let you know.
Well, the night's early. Shall we hunt?
Very thirsty. Very thirsty. It's been a very hot day. And then she just like scrambles up a rooftop at that point, and you see her kind of bounding off in the shadows. Okay. So Jacques off. He's gone for the night. Rest of you are back. We'll say at this point, Lou, you've made it back. you're sitting with them. Selena, you've had your talk. Eustace or Duke, is there anything you two were up to?
I mean, I've already got, I guess, the scout title, so may as well lead the new folks around the place. You know, because you don't want to have them come into the new place and like all they're seeing is like the tragedy of the child and bad news. It should be balanced out with
Sure.
showing them some of the niceties of the area.
You walk them through the grove, which is amazing. Some of them like it's no wisdom tree, of course, but
No.
like it's very, very nice. You'll show them maybe the church, the spring beneath, which is the clearest water that they've ever seen, and they're probably most in all of that because they live in a relatively untouched mountain where it's not really destroyed by pollutants, and they themselves have very clear water. But seeing this underground spirit that manages to sort of let the water flow through your sept is in itself kind of sort of awe-inspiring. And it's at that point that you kind of see them between going through the grove and seeing these beautiful blossoms and seeing the growth of the fruit and then seeing everything beneath, that you finally start seeing them become like more accustomed to it. One other thing, though, Eustace, as you're moving around and you're trying to introduce them, you do notice that other than Adora and yourselves, there are no Garo here. The only people you see left around are human workers. You don't see Bodhi Darkpaw and his crew. You don't see Warchild and Alvarez and their crew. You don't see the new guy, Hector Sunrunner. Like, you don't see him. Like, there are none. I'm going to presume you weren't at the conversation Selena had with Adora, but you don't see it. And to the point where, like, some of the kids are like, I thought you had a thriving community, Eustace.
We do. Trouble doesn't ever come a single spice at a time. It's always in, just a whole fleet of things. And I got a feeling that there's a location full of the people that have been causing some of the troubles that we were dealing with, likely involved in what happened to whose kid there. I've got a guess about what's going on. I might be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. Probably not. But I know, it's not meant to be a comparison. There's some things that we could never compare to what you had. What I will say is you can be appreciated, respected. Anything I can do for you, don't hesitate to ask.
So, like, are there rules if Dawnclaw, and like, we'll say it's Orion maybe talking, like, are there like rules if Dawnclaw comes looking for us? Does he get to like take his back? Do you guys like negotiate or something? Like, how does that work?
I think the number one thing is to respect what you want. Now, I understand you were taken in and shown away, and I can appreciate that. Like, there was some stability and structure provided to you during a very difficult time of your life, and I get that, and sometimes it can be real tempting to return to that.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to be the sort of person to tell you what to do, but I hope you'll consider staying. And I, for one, would be happy to fight for you if you want to stay.
Wait, he's going to come fight us?
No, that's not what I mean. But I mean, you can sometimes have words.
He's old, but he can.
I'm sure he could.
He can scrap. Okay. Like, you guys don't really have a lot of wolves, man.
Yeah, I imagine that's going to be a challenge that we're going to be looking into in the very near future. I just figured I didn't want you to show up here and see nothing but gloom and doom, because that's, it's a hard life that you're stepping into, but it's not all bad.
Yeah, like, okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to I don't want to sound ungrateful or anything. But like, your bunkhouses are pretty small. There ain't no wolves around. I don't know. It seems like we showed up at like a bad time. Like,
It's probably a rough time.
Okay. Like we can come back
I'm not gonna lie about it.
later.
No, I want you to do what you feel is right for you, but I want to express my concern that going back where you were, you might be putting yourself into a difficult situation. If what little I picked up from you all talking before we left the mage's compound, I feel like you are kind of aware of that. I'm not going to press on it. Okay. I'm
Well,
sure
if like
there's
we're
some-
gonna be like a burden, like I mean, we don't have to go back, and they're all kind of looking at. We can go somewhere else.
You ain't a
too.
burden. Like, we got this place. Also, I've got a bar and grill. Like, if you all ever want to go get something a little more updated or get out and stretch
Okay.
your legs, you're welcome to do that.
Okay. All right.
Well, you are not a burden. You're welcome. Happy as hell that you're here. Sorry that you have to show up when there's other troubles going on, but that is not a reflection upon you or any lack of concern for you from us.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks, I guess. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. No, the whole lot of you, you're fucking great. Okay? You're some of the coolest kids I've met in a long damn time. I'm just really glad you're here.
Okay. Hey, could you do me a favor though? Could you kind of stop calling us kids? Like,
You know what? I'm sorry.
some
I'm
of us in
just
our
old.
20s. It's just kind of weird.
I know. I'm so old.
Okay.
That part of my brain just rotted, fell out a little while back. It did. Man, I got a bad cold last year. I sneezed funny, just popped right out my ear.
They kind of look at you like, we're not like 5, right?
I know. This is where I do self-deprecating humor to try and step back from the fact that you think I insulted you by calling you kids.
Oh.
Because I now
okay.
see how that comes
Gotcha.
across.
Okay. Hey, can I go like hunt? Like, is it cool if I just like head off like up that mountain over there? Can I just
Please
kind of
do.
go hunt something?
Yeah.
All right. And so you see, like, he's like, all right, see it, Titan, you coming? And like, you see Titan, like, all right. And so like the two of them kind of start heading out and they're going to go hunt something. Duke and Lou, what are you guys up to? Last we saw near the boys' room. What's going on?
Yeah, so I think with everything that's transpired, Duke, without talking to Adora, I think as old as he is, knows that things are not good. And I imagine Eustace and Lou has informed him of his hideouts issues. So the first thing he'd like to do tonight is go visit, and I think he has a rapport with the rancher Randall Webb, where like he can use his farm equipment and use his stuff because they kind of share things. So he's gonna go grab like kind of like a small truck and trailer, and he's gonna go get his little tiny house and stick it on the trailer, and then he's gonna go drive it. Since he's a cartographer, he probably knows some random location that nobody knows about, and go drive it over there and worry about getting electricity and plumbing, but at least take care of its location for the time being.
That all sounds great. I think we can do that. Yeah. I like the idea of like the safe house being like a trailer. Like it's like a
I imagine like it's like a
sense.
tiny home type of thing. It's not huge. It has like a couple spaced out rooms, but he has it like that for a reason in case things like this happen.
I mean, you get it all hitched up. Randall has no qualms with lending you a truck as per usual. And one thing you definitely notice is that you're the interior of it's all fine. Like everything's structurally sound. Like there's no issues. But definitely the interior or whatever furniture you might have had or anything like that has seen some better days. As a scuffle certainly went down inside here. But yeah, you get it hooked up, find another place. You got you might have some like backup locations here and there already planned just in case something happens and something like this might happen, and you kind of remove it, relocate it as best you can. And we'll say you probably spend the evening doing that. Probably take a whole evening to kind of get that all situated. All right, that works. And then Lou, what, other than sitting with Riley and Lucas, was there anything you were looking to do?
Lou might drop by the server room quickly to grab a laptop and just start sort of investigating anything around those trucks that attacked us and the Lockwood company that is associated with them, et cetera, and just like start hacking and doing a bit more of a deep dive because she is angry.
Yeah. Let's do a tech roll. Tech makes sense. We'll do like maybe a wits or intelligence, whichever you prefer.
Sure.
Probably wits because it's active. So we'll say that.
Right. And she'll just be like chain smoking while she does it.
Sure. Chain smoking with the 2 patients in the room. Yeah.
I am going to use a willpower to reroll 3 of those.
Okay.
Uh,
So we're up 2 so far.
3.
Yeah, they're like, hey, we had a castle.
Nope.
Now
All
we got
right.
some shitty orange grove. Like what? 2 successes is not particularly good, to be honest with you.
No.
Okay, I'll say maybe you're getting distracted.
Yeah, well,
occasionally
she's
Lucas stirs or something. 2 successes. Let's see.
Am I allowed to use willpower to try to reroll again, or only one time? Only one time. Okay, thanks, Aaron.
I think it's just.
I see the head shake.
Let's see if I got anything. Let's see. Trying to see if there's anything that you haven't already gotten. Yeah, 2 successes isn't really going to give you much. You know that they are a private security company. They are based out of the Southwest. They have only been in the Phoenix area for about a year or so now. From what you can tell, they don't you have been unable to figure out where they get their funding from. Like that's probably where you're stymied right now, is you're looking to see if you can track their funding in some particular ways. You can't. Most of their at least forward-facing personnel and executives, not all of them are here in the Southwest. They do have like other like sort of locations where they're active, both national and international. But they do have this sort of contingent here. All of like the people that you see that are forward-facing, most of them, they don't really kind of come across as locals to you. Like they're more kind of executive style. But all of them seem to have ties to at least some kind of military service at some point, various branches here and there. But none of them come across to you, I would say, as like the lead in any particular way. Like you're finding like the organizational structure to be somewhat nebulous, and their financials to be also very nebulous, and trying to navigate that is proving very difficult.
Yeah, this is a headache. Okay, and then I will also, if possible, check out more information on the Echo node locations that we discovered a while ago. See if I can find out more about the terrain or what they used to be, perhaps. I guess they were both all Karens, but groves or...
Okay.
They were all angry Karens, but groves or...
Is there another kind? Is there another kind? You could do another test if you like. That's fine.
Okay.
On this, let's do like another. We should do more tech. Tech's fine. Or investigation, I guess, is good too. Wits, probably. Again.
I do like the investigation, but
Yeah.
I cannot roll today.
Oh, wow.
You may like investigation, but you're not being
Does not like you.
successful.
Your
at it.
dice
Does
don't
not
like
like
it.
me. Okay, I'm too emotional and angry right now to really focus on anything.
Can't
That
breathe,
makes
all the
sense.
smoke in the room.
No, that is my natural air.
So we'll say at a certain point, as you are struggling once more, you feel a hand on your shoulder, Lou, and you look up, and maybe you even were unexpectedly dozing, and like the ash in one of your cigarettes is a lot longer than you expected it to be. And you see like there's Adora looking down at you in her kind of almost grandmotherly ways at this point. She kind of looks down and she says, he's going to be all right.
I should have come back sooner. The stupid
Maybe.
cleansing was not worth this.
Maybe there's no sense thinking about the past. That's just gonna cause you stress and anxiety. You made the choice. It is what it is, and move
I
on
couldn't have
from
been
here.
swayed. I should have known better.
Hey, it's okay. We take care of our own, and he's not one of us, but he is one of us. So he's all right. He's fine. He's a brave and strong boy. He called. He was looking for you. He told us who he was and where he was and what was happening. And apparently,
We followed his scent from Duke's secret base to the middle of the desert. And he didn't say anything when he so he told
he
you
talked to
every...
us a little bit, and then
Yeah?
eventually exhaustion set in. But he said something about the signals got all disrupted, like the radio and the cell and the cell phone and the TV and all that kind of thing. And then I think he said something about service vehicles being in an area where there ain't supposed to be service vehicles. I mean, Duke picked one hell of a place to park that thing.
Yeah, that sounds like a terrible place to have parked his thing.
And then he just said, like, it was like an ice cream truck from hell or something like that. Your boy's got a lip on him.
He's much better mouse than I have.
Well, just something about a truck and making a lot of noise, and then they woke up and started attacking them or something like that.
Oh, well. Then, okay. Ice cream truck from hell.
I think he was just delirious or being imaginative.
What happens? Worst case scenario, it's all true. What's that? That is terrible. Let me think. I'm going to try to reach out to some of my spiders and see if I can hear anything that sounds like that.
Okay.
And
you do what you gotta do.
But so he's okay though? I know.
He's gonna be
thank
fine.
you so much for
He's
staying
gonna
up.
be
You
fine,
look exhausted and like terrible shit. But I appreciate that you look like this.
Wow.
Well, thank you. I think he's not the only one that's in danger, you know.
I know. Okay, we need to deal with. I want to destroy these people. Okay, let me listen in and see if I can hear anything that sounds like a hell ice cream truck. Let's assume that everything is true. That this is worst case scenario. Because then, if it's not, then we are in a better footing regardless.
Okay, go ahead and give it a roll.
I will resolve
wisdom.
Wisdom is 3. Okay. So I just have to use a different stat because wisdom you can't roll on. What's 3? Okay. Okay, I will use a willpower. Oh, I guess maybe. Okay, I can't reroll.
Maybe you can double up that 10.
Can only re-roll the green ones.
Yeah. All right. Maybe.
Hey,
We could
maybe you'll
try it.
Jeremy luck. Only roll 2 dice and you'll do
Okay.
well. Roll a bunch of dice and it's a good.
I will try to re-roll the 2 of the dice.
Come on, Jeremy luck.
There you go. I got one.
There's
Okay,
one
yeah,
more.
third.
Okay.
Okay. So you start trying to sort of dig in and figure out what the hell he's talking about. And ice cream truck from hell, like that phrase is kind of a weird phrase. You start disruption to signals and such, but there's nothing in the area. You're not getting anything weird here. Everything's exactly as it should be. Like the normal kind of weaver spiders that kind of come through and maintain the various signals that come into the Gaia's Grove. Like all of them are there, and none of them seem to be malfunctioning or acting in ways that would worry you. What you do maybe see is you start digging into the last few days, and you look for like outages, signals outages, things like anything from just like cable TV to internet outages to power outages, things like that. And you do notice that there was sort of this roving like radius that seemed to snake around in the area that Duke had previously parked his safe house. And it's fairly localized, so it's only maybe about a mile or two in terms of its like sort of radius or diameter, and like people were kind of popping up kind of making some complaints here and there about this or that, and like Cox, the local like cable company, or various ISPs were like kind of coming out and saying like, you know, texts are being sent. We're trying to figure out what this is. Routers, everything seems to be in good shape. Like all of them are like referencing how like the physical equipment seems fine. And you do notice like you can almost see like a track as if like there was like it was sort of being moved about here and there. And that's probably the gist of it. And that I think you would probably conclude, if he's making an ice cream truck reference, is the idea if it's like broadcasting a signal and it's mobile, and that might have been what was disrupting things.
This is something I will update the pack when they're all back together. For now, I will sit and I will watch over them. Make sure.
I'm right here. You can talk to me.
I don't want to talk to you anymore. Nothing but bad ideas have come from you.
Oh,
Jeez.
Lou's all fired up.
Wow. All right.
I would have thought that you would have been relieved to see that Lucas is alive.
Yes, but I should have left when we were talking at the camp and you had all the weed and you're like, oh, let it go. It's not a big deal. No, he's okay. Even though he said teapot, it doesn't mean teapot.
And he was capable, and you said he can take care of himself, and he took care of himself.
That doesn't mean he should have to if I had the option of leaving and helping.
We have things that we need to do. We needed you where we
Whatever.
were.
If I die from the inside out, then that's fine. I've been ready to die for ages. It's werewolves don't last that long. Look, Widor Grove is all empty now.
Yes, and they need us to go figure out what happened. So sometimes there are things we need to do, and we just need to do them. And you cannot have him attached and holding your hand through everything. He did.
He is not attached and holding my hand. He is fine. And no, okay. No,
exactly.
No. Everything you're saying, no,
totally fine. But
have to think about. Yes, I am fortunate he's alive. Riley is going to die. Look at Riley. He's been smashed like a car.
You hear a voice, a weak voice, like, Riley's gonna die?
Oh shit.
And you see there's Lucas in the bed. Like, oh, I don't want him to die.
No, it's okay. Oh, Lucas, shit. Okay. We
Lucas,
don't know.
You did such a good job dragging him. You
no,
really
get
job.
out. No. We've had enough of your talk.
Good job, Lucas. Glad you're alive.
Thank you. Me too. And so he'll just look at you like, is Riley really gonna die?
Riley
He's
is
really
not
heavy.
doing. Yes, you did a great job. I've been looking for your ice cream truck from hell, but Riley, he's not doing well. He's very injured. We're hoping he'll pull through, but it does not look good.
He got shot and he got in a car accident. And those things woke up and tried to kill us and stuff. And like that all happened like one after the other. So I hope he doesn't die. I wouldn't have made it out of the house if it wasn't for him.
I'm thankful that he was there to help you. And I don't want him to die either, but I don't want to lie to you.
Okay.
But it does not look. He's very injured. It does not look good.
They almost shot his arm off. Look, and you look over, and you can see like they have crazily. They sort of bandaged up his right arm, and like the whole thing is discolored when you kind of take a look at the right arm. It's just like this terrible discoloration, like to suggest like circulation's not happening properly. And the kid's just like They woke up, like we heard the sound, like the trucks were moving around and we heard the sound, it made us sick. We started to get all nauseous and everything, and like our ears really hurt, and then the thing started to move, and then they started to wake up, and then they started to come after us, and then they started making sounds, but then Riley like threw a chair at one of them. And then we ran out the back and we tried to drive away, but then the car stopped working and like we smashed into the thing. And then like the windshield exploded, and then his arm just went whoosh. And then, so I grabbed him, and I dragged him, and then I'm here. And I called the lady, Adora.
Yes.
I said, yeah.
I'm
I said,
very
"We need
thankful that you
help."
got here. Yes.
So she came
it
to help.
was very smart. It was very smart of you to have called her and to have
I
done
sent
that.
Teapot, you know.
I saw it. There are some things that I'm going to have to tell you, I think, about what happened maybe 5 years ago when I was in the hospital for a bit, you remember?
Yeah.
And then I was out of the hospital a bit quicker than my injury should have allowed.
Yeah, you just said it was like an infection or something.
Yes. So there's some things that I'm going to have to tell you, but when you are feeling better, when you are feeling stronger, we will have this discussion. Because I want you to concentrate more on getting better right now, and hopefully we can watch Riley, and Riley will be okay too. I don't know about his arm. But here, let me show you something. Here, see on this computer, this is the signal. Yes, I know, sorry. But you see how it's moving. I think they were looking for you. They were, the void represents where they were because they cause outages wherever they are. That is your hell ice cream truck. They were looking, they were trying to find you. They were following you maybe.
Okay. Well, I think they found us then.
Well, yes, but I thought, okay, we think we know some of the sources, and I think we're going to have to go cause a little bit of anarchy for it. Not tonight. Tonight you are going to rest and get better, and then we'll do anarchy another night, okay?
Okay.
Okay,
right.
But for now you have to rest.
Okay.
Okay.
And then he like rolls over and he'll go back to sleep. All right. So unless there are specific desires to do something else, we could say time will pass, night will pass, everyone with their various businesses, relocating safe houses, hunting with their vampire friend, showing the young folks around, getting them settled, showing them whatever it is you want to show them, Eustace. We'll say morning will come. You all have had some time to at least get a decent night's rest. And we'll say, I mean, I think we'll say it probably makes sense for you all to at some point come back. Those of you who went away from the Grove kind of meet back up at some point, figure out next steps, that sort of thing. So we'll say sometime in the morning, we'll put you all back together inside Gaia's Grove with Adora's there. Lucas is okay. Riley's still kind of recovering as best he can. We'll say the young pups are nearby if necessary, if needed. And all of you are there. And we'll say Adora kind of calls you all at some point into, like her, not her office necessarily, but she'll just, because that's where it looks like Lucas and Riley have been sort of sleeping, but like she'll kind of get you all to start like walking off to some remote section of the Grove with her. And she'll kind of she looks very, very tired, in fact. Like even with you all being back, like it's possible she didn't get any sleep. You see dark rings under her eyes, definitely some bloodshot action going on. She seems a little bit more impatient than you're used to seeing her. But she'll turn to you all and she'll kind of fill you in on some of the things that she said mentioned to Selena. So the pack that one, like again, you guys were a sept with 3 packs. There's yours. One was led by Bodhi Darkpaw. Another one was led by Warchild. And Darkpaw's pack was sent to one of the sites that you all had found in the Echo Labs metadata. And it was sort of to the southeast, about an hour or so from Gaia's Grove. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere, northwest of Florence, which is a smaller town. But they've been gone for literally days. And no one has returned calls, like after about 24 hours of them being missing. Like they were getting some spotty communication within the first 24 hours, but it was really bad. They were getting like calls from like Bunker or Rosie and various other people just kind of throwing out names that you all would recognize. but like the updates were weird. They didn't really, things weren't making sense. And then to sort of go check in on that, she sent the new guy who you all had met first session when he kind of came to fetch you guys at Heart and Soul, Hector Sunrunner. He left 48 hours after like the initial disappearance, and so he's been gone as well. So he's missing. So all of them are effectively missing now, and so we're talking 5 Geru that are gone for several days. You're literally just an hour away. No communication, no call, nothing. And that is concerning. In terms of the other site, so you, again, in the metadata, you had very precise location for this potential other cairn, like ancient cairn, something like that. You're not sure exactly what it was that Echo Labs seemed to have on their coordinates, on their, like they were interested in. And there was a second one that was out west. It's kind of near the nuclear power plant out there. It's like 2 hours away from where you guys are. But she sent Warchild and Alvarez out there, and they're still in contact. They got into some sort of trouble, some mercs or whatever, and then 2 of them got arrested. There's some sort of compound that they're still kind of poking around, trying to get a feel for exactly what it is. And so they're still sort of in contact, still there, but they're just out west. But she's really concerned about the fact this place that you guys found that no one's come back from. So we'll say, I don't have to play all that, but she'll say she summarizes all of that for you all as you're walking through the grove. How do you all react?
I found out some information last night that may tie some of this together. And apparently the corporation that's behind all of this is called TDG. Lockram, that security force, they're a subsidiary of this other corporation. Their think tank is headquartered downtown, and apparently what they're researching is us and other supernaturals. I think they're trying to cull and capture supernaturals for their experiments. I expect these signal zombies are just another one of their experiments. And since we didn't exterminate the ones we found, they tracked them back to Duke's safe house and woke them up and carted them off. I think if we're going to save our Gauru brothers, we're going to need to go there because I expect they've been captured. They seem to want to take us alive, or at least mostly alive. I have a feeling that group we ran across in the highway was working for this TDG group.
Well, I mean, it seems like the ones that run across us use of their silver bullets. They don't necessarily need everyone taken for their experimentation, but I would hate to see part of our
if they could have put us down with silver, they could have taken us alive, kept us alive long enough to get us into some kind of containment.
That does seem to track with that sniper, just pelting us just enough to make it hurt, but not finishing anybody off, too.
That's right. If he's a good enough shot to take those shots from that distance, he could have put one in our brain pans and dropped us, probably.
The fact that they are going after normal humans and causing supernatural effects, we can spin that and get the humans to help us by showing them what they are doing without exposing ourselves.
I don't think we'll be able to. I think they'll be able to cover that up. We can't even get to this TDG group.
Well, if the Echo Labs have information there on their experiments, then they can't cover that up if we release that information.
I don't know much about the human world, but from what I've seen, if you've got enough money, you can cover anything up.
Well, and really for right now, this is a search and rescue. There's a whole other level of things that are happening that we're not going to be able to take care of today, but we can maybe go get our stuffed mates back.
That's sound.
Yes.
One other thing I'm a little worried about. Adora. She seems off. She's the only one left who hasn't been cleansed, right?
This is true.
Duke, did you get to keep the knowledge of the cleansing that you could do with Adora? Like, because if we're going to another Echo Labs, then we could get just re-blackened.
I don't know, Jeff.
Okay, so first Adora is here, so like you guys are talking about her, the third person, so that's kind of awkward.
Whoops.
But I'll say,
I would have said that a little.
Oh yeah, you could pull people away. It's fine. We'll say it'll be some kind of an occult roll. You can try to make sure you go through the steps the way you remember it involved, kind of almost like basically bring you to the verge of death, drowning until kind of expunging whatever was in it. And you had immediate
magic, the most powerful.
You had like immediate feedback to know whether the ritual worked. So even if you do it incorrectly, you'll know that you did it incorrectly at the very least.
We should also tell, Adora, you should know that we may have angered another sept or several packs led by an old wolf, Josiah Dawnclaw. And he had a Korax shifter with him named Mother Morella and was working with a mage named Dakota.
He was also super evil and wanted the crown to mind control all the werewolves.
Adora, exhausted at her wit's end. When you mention the name Mother Morella, though, when you mention the Korax, she's less concerned probably with Dawnclaw. I mean, at some point she might have heard the name. Maybe Duke mentioned it. Maybe somebody else did. Who knows? And she'll just say, it wouldn't be the first time that there's disagreement between septs. We will cross that bridge when we come to it. If we come to it, we can be diplomatic if necessary, and our claws and fangs are sharp if necessary. But Korax, Morella, you say?
Yes.
You can see she gets kind of nervous. Like she starts to, in a way, her hands, like she's kind of wringing them to a degree. I know that name, and she looks kind of a little pensive. When I was young, shortly after my first change, she's a very powerful seer. She can. You're certain that is the name that was given?
Absolutely. And she was a powerful seer.
So it's likely she's already seen what you all... But if that's the case... And then she starts working through and getting she's expressing half sentences. Like she's almost... Her running monologue inside her head is partially being, verbalized, but then she'll trail off here and there. That is most concerning. They're not very rare, but not enemies necessarily, although they certainly can be. This is a little concerning now. We have more pressing matters.
Yes. But it gets more complicated as it goes. But the young ones that we have with us came of their own choice, but they reported on some things that occurred up there that were not.
As long as they are here on their own accord and you did not coerce them, I think we are on solid ground for diplomacy with Dawnclaw. Yep. However, what is this Raven Shifter up to?
As we mentioned, they were searching for the crown. That was...
Right. So you mentioned the crown, and she just kind of looks at you. Now, the silver crown, for those that would know, and obviously I think you all at this point would have, whether we had it, or whether we had it off screen or whatever, you would have had conversations about it. One of the strongest, most powerful artifacts, right? The idea that it can be worn. And she kind of scoffs, honestly, a little at it. Like as if she's not even sure it really exists kind of thing. Not the way that it's sort of explained in stories. And she kind of scoffs a little bit out of it. But he would not be the first to search after the crown. feudal. And from what I've heard of the man, Wolf, I doubt he would be worthy to begin with, should he even find it.
Oh no, we
I
definitely heard
almost-
things that agree with that. Not worthy.
I almost felt that this Korax and the mage were truly working together just to send us against this other mage in hopes that we would hurt or kill him. I don't think they really cared about the crown at all.
Interesting.
They were after Bill, I think. I'm just a wolf. I don't know, but
No,
it seemed to
Oh,
me
very
that-
perceptive. Quiet Claw. I'm sorry, Eustace. What were you going to say?
I was offering agreement. I got the vibe too. I don't think she can see plenty. She's not infallible. I think she was anticipating some outside party to come in and
Mages are involved. I imagine things get far more confusing.
he had a way of twisting time to where you could see multiple possibilities. So I imagine that probably does make her deal more difficult to focus.
not to mention living with the spirit of the Rocky Mountains itself.
Yeah,
Her
there was
eyes
a powerful
go
spirit
wide.
there. Whether or not the Silver Crown really exists the way that it's talked about, there was a very powerful spirit there that wanted to make sure that whatever form it may be did not leave there.
We did also
Wow.
agree not to talk about very much information around.
You're literally
All their brains melt.
everything.
Right.
standing
Any
there.
locations away. No
You think
locations.
that's cool? Guess
The
what else we
spirit.
saw?
That sounds awesome, guys. Then she sprouts bat wings and flies away. With this newfound information. Okay. She'll probably defer to you all. Like if you think it's not, if you think that it's not worth pursuing the crown, if you think it's not worth going back, then she'll do that. She doesn't get the sense that she reiterates like the idea of one pack leaving a sept and joining another. That's fine. Like packs are free to do what they want. Like Geru are free to do what they want. That is who we are. Like
But he is super
have-
evil and wants controls. That's the problem.
Yeah.
But that means the rest of the pack is convincible. So if they do march on us, we have a chance to persuade them that there's better, greener grass over here.
Well, I mean, hopefully when we make it look not so.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, we need to
Times
have
are a little
actual
bad,
greener grass
but-
and maybe
To
spruce
that
up the.
point, maybe we should go find our fellow sept mates.
Yes.
right. But
Yes.
we do need a plan because we can't just walk up there because I think that's what they did and
Mm.
didn't work out for them.
We just make a
We-
wider circle.
Yeah, U-turn. Yeah, okay.
Well, maybe we can
Oh.
take it. I don't know if any of us have ever gone hunting with that fellow before. This is somewhat above board. Like, do we kind of
Sure.
know in general how his pack likes to handle things? Like, are they? She seemed to mention that he's very good at reconnaissance, so it doesn't sound like he was the sort that just charged in.
So Bodhi, Bunker, Tyler, and Rosie are the four that are basically in the pack, and then Hector Sunrunner came after. He's again, first change was not very long ago. He's very new to the set. But the other four are they are surprisingly savvy in terms of the way in which they function. Like they to most folks, they probably look less than. They look, maybe a little dirty or grimy, or they look a little hippie like in like their sort of desert, like they're kind of desert burnouts, but they kind of use that to their advantage in some ways. So like you guys would know that they are very capable people. And they probably are a little bit more cohesive as a pack than you guys are, even because like there's like even in your group there's some internal conflict as we've documented, but they work very, very, very well as a team. That they actually for many years when they were younger, because they're all like in their 40s or so, that they actually worked. They don't have a particularly clean history when it comes to their like rap sheet. They're criminals basically for a while, but they're sort of, they've left that life kind of behind them to some degree, and but they're very good at kind of robbing people, robbing places, mostly banks.
They weren't expecting a group of werewolf hunters, though. If they ended up tangling with people who came after us at this location, I mean, we hit one of their locations. I can only assume these lockroom security would have beefed up the security at their other sites and possibly prepared them for a werewolf incursion.
And so Lou, if you and Lucas were talking about the ice cream machine,
The hell ice cream truck, yes.
and the I'm trying to think in your, because that sent out a signal that disrupted. So is there a signal that can disrupt the disrupting signal that could give us a benefit?
I mean, yeah, sure. If you can create the harmonic wave patterns that counters the original wave pattern, you can sort of block it that way, create its bounce back effect, if you will. But the wave was also causing people to be sick around it. It causes disruption of machinery. It to be able to send a signal out, you have to have something that works.
Could we just deafen ourselves?
Again, I still need something to send out a
No, like
harmonic
earplugs.
I would imagine that it nothing else, we should definitely wear earplugs. Yes, I agree. And if there's also a way to even just put our phones on speakers and try to send the signal out, we may not have ice cream truck level technology, but something perhaps to give us a little aura of sound won't make us nauseous. And
we need to know what the wave looks like before we can create something to counter it with the same wavelengths, and we don't have that information.
If we can track where the disruptions are heading, get in front of them and blow the truck up from a distance.
For once, I agree with you, Jacques. Blowing it up is the easy answer.
How are we going to blow it up?
Part of the problem is that they've relocated to the middle of nowhere, so we can't track the outages in the same way that we could when they were in the metro area.
I can listen for it, though. I can use the spiders and talk to the spirits, and I can listen for it if we're running around.
Okay.
Right. Well, we also need to think about it this way. So if they're hunting supernatural, right, they're trying to get the powers, whatever, that means they may not be super familiar with the Umbra. So we could try to enter the Umbra and pop out just like we did in the mage's place, but maybe go a little deeper and try to get inside somewhere, maybe inside the communications tower or something like that, and kick everything off there.
As far as we've seen, everything is not in the Umbra, so yes.
And that's right. I did forget that we have the exact coordinates of where we're going, so we could get into the Umbra and come.
And Duke would have like the maps of like where we could probably perfectly enter and.
Right.
Okay.
So
good plan.
Adora will also let you know that she did hear from Darkpaw at one point. Again, like within about 24 hours, and it was like garbled, like a terrible signal, left a message. But two things stood out to her. Well, actually, I would say three. Like, they didn't mention, like Bodhi didn't mention anything about, like there being a compound, or he didn't say there was or wasn't. Just didn't seem to talk about defenses or anything like that. Mentioned two things popped out though. Two phrases. One, stargazers, which all of you would be familiar with, as a sort of a outcast tribe. They used to be like aligned with the, so like their patron spirit Chimera, but like they had, once the Garo Nation kind of collapsed and fell apart in history, like they had an amicable parting of ways. And so now the Stargazers are kind of like this weird group of Geru that aren't part necessarily, like they're not like enemies necessarily, but they're just sort of this. They're still fighting the worm, but they do it in ways generally that are a little bit different. Now, you all are going to just obviously need to decide exactly how you want to your characters are going to position themselves, but like you could basically someone could kind of look at them as people who lied and betrayed the rest of the Geru nation. Some might say that they are like they've even lost the wolf because they have this overly kind of calm and rational demeanor in some ways that might make Eustace look angry at certain points. But they still kind of maintain, as far as everyone knows, like connections to Gaia and Luna and like the Geru nation's goal, but like they don't necessarily place the same value on sort of like trying to curb the apocalypse. It might be more like sort of rebuilding once it's over in a better way kind of deal. So they sort of make very curious decisions. So that phrase came up, stargazers. And so that's something that, again, all of you would know. And again, where your specific character wants to sort of situate themselves and how they feel is fine. The other phrase, and this one she doesn't have a real answer to, whispering sands. She's like, whatever that means. I have not heard of it. It's not a Geru I know. It's not a magical cairn. None of these things.
That's pretty familiar to me.
I mean, didn't we have some strange sound when the sandstorm hit us?
What?
Sort of.
Yeah, there was that dirge, right?
Mm-hmm.
Lou, is there any way that you can search out what this means?
Are you asking me to use technology, Jacques? Just to be clear, I just want to hear it one more time.
Because your
Okay.
patron's going to be real sad.
Okay, I'll look it up. I had to check. I had to ask.
You know, fire always.
You just get a stony stare.
I picked up on that.
Lou, yeah, if you want to, again, tech,
Yes.
you can tech wits or investigation
I'm-
wits even.
Been rolling so well today. This is going to go well. Oh, okay. So that's a little bit better, maybe? Yes. 3 successes.
3. Okay. I will tell you that you find a website for a real estate contracting firm. And when you look into Whispering Sands and you do some sort of very basic searching, it really doesn't seem too difficult to find this. In fact, you notice sort of again, basic real estate. It seems to be the name for a development that's north of Florence, Arizona. And it's like a kind of a new wave development. And there's all sorts of images of a very, very beautiful kind of desert, sort of like pre-planned community of some kind. It's
Was this
and it's like families and stuff like that. Like it's not like retirement necessarily. It's like full families and stuff. And you can see there's images of the different models. There looks to be like 4 different models of homes, but then there's within each of those, there's like 16 other different variations that you can have of the 4 different models. And they're like kind of going through the different phases of expansion in this open area near like the White Canyon Wilderness.
Duke, here, look at this. This is and Whispering Sands looks like it could be this real estate expansion. Is this? Do you know if anything is on your maps from this location? Is it an old cairn or anything like that?
Pulls out a map.
Give me.
I don't think you have to. I think you're just paper.
No, I just make the noise. Okay.
I see. You
You give me like a cartography roll because I know that's your specialty. That's fine. All right. Yeah, let's do that.
4.
Okay.
Wow.
All right. So what you uncover between the various like maps you have and just some other basic like academics that it has mostly been like a no man's land between like population centers in the state, and that it was once, and you probably might even have a copy of this old geological survey map that the state of Arizona commissioned years and years ago as having uranium deposits. But you also know that there is like no record at any point of any mining being done for that. Like that's a whole ordeal. And that's never really happened. And maybe a more recent recent geological survey doesn't have that. So it's less like it was there, it wasn't there. It's kind of confusing. It basically hasn't really like this White Canyon Wilderness area is sort of protected desert wilderness. But there is a swath of land that is privately owned, and that the coordinates you have does seem to correspond to it. So like you're abutting the wilderness area, the protected wilderness. I'll say just sort of carrying this over to just like more like a history or just general knowledge of the area that Duke might have. Two other stories might have popped up in your mind at the mention of like north of Florence, this White Canyon Wilderness, that kind of stuff. Like these names might have been like keywords for you. One was a kind of a free love commune back in like the late 60s, early 70s that went bad, but the specifics are kind of unclear. Something went bad there, and like everyone kind of disappeared, and there was no real clear like, did everyone die, et cetera, and there's like maybe there's like a documentary or two that's trying to figure out where this person still, like they never found this person, just missing persons. And then it did in fact like 100 years ago was actually supposed to be like a silver mine, which doesn't really line up with now. Like then it was a uranium thing. Like all of it kind of doesn't really make sense. So I said that with 4 successes, that's probably what Duke has about the area, like historically speaking.
Spawn to knowledge, you are.
It is,
Hey, at least someone knows it, right?
very
Pushes his glasses
inconsistent surveying, but I wonder, it's like if you think about historically, Johannesburg in South Africa was a city or built on top of a gold mine, right? Hi.
We're all like waiting for
A
the
roundabout way to get to where you're
So
going.
I wonder if there is minings that happens that they hid, or maybe they want to build a town on top of it and populate it with the controlled people. Maybe, I don't know. I'm spitballing.
I think they are mining it now because it seems like the private property is the property that we want to go on to, which is probably owned by TDG. And if either this development is a front for what they want to do, or it's a way to get people to experiment on. So that's my thought.
Duke,
Maybe
in your
so.
travels in the area, have you run across any stargazers in this area?
I don't know, Jeff.
How long has Duke been in the Southwest? Like I had in my mind that he was more like kind of relocated here later in life, as opposed to like this is where he like originated.
He retired here. He's so old.
I would say, I would say he's kind of been there for a while because he is trying to restore like the boundaries, right? And like the Silver Fang's true locations and stuff. So I think there is like some connection and tie to it that he is, it is important to him versus like trying to find like New York's.
Give me an etiquette roll. An etiquette with like, I mean, you can put any attribute on this. I don't mind. So it could be charisma or intelligence. I'll take either of those is okay. But it'll be etiquette, and we'll see if there's any names. This is just to see if you remember a specific name.
All right. can re
difficulty 3. I'm going to put it on.
Yeah. I can't re-roll.
so
it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Okay. You would know that.
Unless I crit, right? I'd have to crit.
You could
Yeah,
crit
you'd have
because
to
you've got
crit.
the 110.
Yeah, that would get you.
Let's YOLO try it.
YOLO, yeah.
All
why not?
right.
YOLO. No.
Yeah, okay. That is a no. You don't remember any specific names, but you do. I would say just by default, you would remember that there was a small pack of stargazers that were rumored to have sort of ventured around kind of central Arizona, not like kind of skirting around Phoenix. Like they're not like they're staying to the outskirts. But you would probably know that basic idea, stirring up trouble here and there, that kind of thing. Not like trouble like the way you've seen trouble with like Echo Labs and Lockroom, but like, just a little bit of a little thing. Like maybe you've had to deal with some of the wake of like reputation of them coming by, but probably don't have a name specifically.
Yeah. So Duke will inform Jacques of that, and Duke will also kind of say that he, I don't mind the stargazers. They don't really do too much, but now that I think about it, when we were in the sandstorm, didn't we fight werewolves with like uniforms? And then there was like the dirge singer, right?
Those were the Black Spiral dancers.
But are they connected?
No.
No, you wouldn't think so. It would be It would be a first if that were to be the case.
But the with the sands and the sounds were
sure
we think might be connected.
So Dust Storm for sure, and then the dirge song for sure. All that sort of makes sense. The Whispering Sands, when you looked it up, when Lou found it, it was the name of a subdevelopment.
Okay, so that was that. Okay.
So we've got 3 locations then. We've got the Echo Station where our pack disappeared. We've got this development, Whispering Sands, and then we've got the headquarters to the TDG think tank downtown.
Well, we think that the pack disappeared at the Echo Lab, but they sent the message Whispering Sands, so maybe they went there. That's what I'm worried about.
But the Whisperings, if the Whispering Sands is just north of Florence, that's not far from where the listening station is.
So hit one and then the other, make a little loop, and hope maybe in the Umbra, I think, like Duke said, to be safe.
They don't know that we possibly know about Whispering Sands. Maybe we should hit that place first.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah, I agree. They're gonna expect us to come to the station.
And also, we can make a scene at Whispering Sands if we don't find anything there and draw them away from the Echo Lab.
Okay, so we're heading to Florence, basically. We're heading south, is that right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Am I hearing that right?
Yep.
Okay.
Through the Umbra.
Sure, we can do that.
Should we heal and do a little healing first? Little howl.
What we can say is, what we'll say is we'll end on that conversation. Plan being made. Everyone kind of returning now to like the bunkhouses and everything, getting whatever healing preparation that you want to get done, and we'll say maybe in the morrow. That's when you guys kind of head out, and we can call it right there, as you guys have like an extra night to, get yourselves right. So we'll call it on that, and we'll pick up next week on you guys heading south to that those coordinates and see what's up. All right.
Nice.
Perfect.
Cool.
All right. So, yeah, what is that? Was this episode 11? It was great. Okay, so yeah, we'll head down
12,
there,
I
and
think.
then
Duke is the knower of
we up to 12 already?
things today.
Okay.
Today,
so smart.
Just today.
just today.
Just today.
Oh.
Lou had some rough rolls tonight. Lou, your son is alive.
My son is alive, and
Yay.
maybe my investigation partner is all right, and we can look into TDG afterwards. No.
I mean, there's alive and there's all right.
Okay.
He's alive.
He's alive.
Breathing, yes.
Next time somebody says kill the zombies, just kill the zombie.
Well, I wanted to leave
Jacques
them in the
is never
hospital
gonna let
and
us
have
forget
somebody
that.
else have to
Yes.
deal with that.
Not a chance.
I wanted the hospital to deal with it.
All right. Why don't we do some closing plugs and we'll get on out of here. So we'll start, Jeremy. Jeremy, you have a Patreon. Why don't you tell us about it?
Yeah. Aaron Reese on Patreon, comics, tokens, fun stuff. Check it out.
Perfect. Aaron, tell us what's going on over at Garblack.
Well, now that the holidays are over, everything should be getting back to normal. So next Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch Millie continuing her long-running Coriolis campaign. It's a lot of fun. Then on Wednesday, I'll be in the narrator's seat at the same time, continuing our Marvel Multiverse Cataclysm of Kang adventure. We had a couple of weeks off due to the holidays, so we're still in the rank 2 friendly neighborhood adventure. So join us for that. It'll be a lot of fun. And then on Thursday, I believe Pete will be back showcasing his own game, Heroic Deeds, in his playthrough of the Red Hand of Doom.
Perfect. As for us, we are back and we're doing our usual schedule. So tomorrow night, well, Aaron, you're running that game. What are we doing tomorrow night?
So tomorrow night, come back and join us. We're going to be playing some Cubicle 7, Wrath and Glory. We're in the Litanies of Lost. We had our little bit of dry run through the Space Hulk, and some decisions were made that I'm sure will not have repercussions in the long run. But we will be diving into the Vow of Silence adventure. So join us for that tomorrow.
Awesome. Then next up after that is Saturday. We've got Call of Cthulhu. We're getting back to Eternal Lies. Had a really awesome session a couple weeks ago. We got to interrogate some witnesses of an old ritual or something that went wrong like 10, 12 years ago. Then let's see. Monday is a Fragged Empire night, so you can see the top row in that game. So come watch some space shenanigans, space sci-fi. And then Tuesday, a bunch of us here are going to be playing some Marvel Multiverse RPG, continuing our X-Men themed, continuing our X-Men / Mojo, or X-Men plus Mojo World theme now campaign. Also, I should remind folks that if you want to get access to a Demiplane account, we still have a giveaway going. So if you head over to the YouTube channel right now, Adventures in Lollygagging, look at the most recent episode of Marvel, drop a comment in there. You get entered into a giveaway for a Demiplane access code, and then come hang out with us on Tuesday. And then we'll be back next Thursday with more Werewolf. So that's where we're at. Thanks for everyone who hung out tonight. Thank you for the raids. We got 2, I think, tonight. The Liching Hour I saw. What was the other one, Melissa? Do you remember?
You're putting me on the spot. And
I am Toyzilla.
Yes.
I got it. Thank you both. If you haven't already followed them, go check their stuff out. Give them a follow. We're gonna pay it forward. We're gonna raid Dork Tales. So follow us as we go raid them, and have a great rest of your night. So bye bye.